This is WKYT News at 6:30 on the CW Lexington.
And we're live right now on the CW Lexington. I'm Sam Dick.
And I'm Jennifer Palumbo. We're glad to have you with us tonight.
I don't know if you've seen the video, but there is some video of a nanny cam, which allegedly, according to the police, shows a child possibly being abused by a nanny. You're a mother. You've got two younger children. I wonder if you ever had thought about having to use a nanny cam when your kids were younger, with a babysitter or somebody maybe.
I never did because I had 100% confidence in my sitters, but I understand, parents, sometimes you don't know everything about these people, and if you feel there are red flags, then I would say do it. Right. And in this case, it sounds like the family made the right call.
All right, we've got more on that coming up.
Trending right now, Kentucky State Police trying to figure out what led to a deadly crash last night on Leestown Road. Investigators say a driver crossed the center line, hitting a vehicle in the opposite lane head-on. The person in that other car died. And
that story is the most clicked on right now on WKYT.com, followed by Lexington Police searching for a driver involved in a deadly hit and run. And a U.S. Senate debate at UK is canceled after Senator Rand Paul declined to debate Lexington Mayor Jim Gray.
Here's what we're following right now at 6:30. A nanny appears in court today after a Lexington mother allegedly caught her abusing her special needs child on camera. Police have charged the nanny with abuse. WKYT's Victor Puente will have details on what the surveillance video shows.
He was able to make 6 presidential debates. He made time for 6 presidential debates, but he's only making time for 1 hour in this Senate race.
The Kentucky League of Women Voters cancels its U.S. Senate debate between Senator Rand Paul and Lexington Mayor Jim Gray after Paul declines an invitation to take part. The league's debate coordinator and a leading Kentucky political reporter join us to break down the news.
A well-known Kentucky businessman has died in a house fire in Pulaski County, and investigators say they still don't know what caused it. WKYT's Phil Pendleton has the story coming up on the investigation.
Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey joins us now. All eyes on Hurricane Matthew and how it's going to impact everywhere from Florida all the way to South Carolina.
Yeah, it's a big storm, obviously, down in the Caribbean right now, guys. It's Category 4. It's briefly flirted with becoming a Category 5 again. It's fall break. We've got a lot of people heading down from Myrtle Beach toward the Florida area, and boy, those are areas that are going to be under the gun for this. This is our hurricane now and is on the eastern tip of Cuba in terms of where the eye is right now. 140 miles per hour in terms of sustained winds. Look at the track on that. Gets very close to the east coast of Florida from Daytona, Jacksonville, arcing its way right up the eastern seaboard. That may flirt with Savannah, Charleston, South Carolina, all the way toward Myrtle Beach, and that may eventually get up into parts of New England as well. Depends on the timing with the cold front moving. Here's what we have right now in central Kentucky. Lexington Skycam, beautiful sunset that is in the making with some ice crystal clouds out there, upper 70s to around 80 degrees. Guys, we'll come back in just a few minutes. We'll fire up the hour-by-hour forecast and show you how things do change into the weekend.
Thanks, Chris. Shocking video appears to show a nanny abusing a special needs child in Lexington. Tonight, the nanny, Lillian White, is behind bars.
The young boy's family says they started noticing something was just not right with their son, and that's when they say they put up a hidden camera, but they weren't prepared for what they saw. WKYT's Victor Puente shows us the video in our top story at 6:30.
The video this family took shows their son being pulled across the floor. Today, the woman who was supposed to be caring for him was arraigned on a charge of second-degree criminal abuse. That video was taken by a nanny cam the child's mother put in their home. Tiffany Fields' 4-year-old son, Luke, has Down syndrome, epilepsy, and heart defects.
Now look here, you little. This is what we're going to do. And we're going to do it my way.
That video was taken Friday. Yesterday, Lexington police arrested Lillian White and charged her with second-degree criminal abuse. At her arraignment this afternoon, her attorney entered a not guilty plea for her. The attorney for Luke's mother says White was hired to take care of the child every Friday back in June. Luke requires constant supervision. They say once White began taking care of him, his behavior changed, which led to his mother placing that camera.
Well, Luke had always been a very loving child, had always been the type of child that liked to be held by his mother, and suddenly all of that changed, and that caused Tiffany to become very concerned.
After the hearing, both White and her attorney said they had no comment on these charges. In Lexington, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Golden says they're looking into the liability on the part of White's employer. He says doctors are examining little Luke to see if he has had any permanent damage.
Their search started months ago, and tonight an Eastern Kentucky family finally knows what happened to their loved one. William Scotty Fannin went missing last December in Martin County. Police have confirmed human remains found last week were Fannin. For weeks, his family searched a nearby lake and the hills near his home, fearing the worst.
It made it real. It's been a long, it's almost 10 months. Scotty would have been gone 10 months this month. Bring him home. We wanted a place for we could have him a proper funeral and bury him.
Police are still investigating Fannin's death. They say the state medical examiner's office is running tests to determine how he died.
An early morning fire that swept through a southern Kentucky home killed an elderly man and injured his girlfriend. It happened on Kentucky 635 in Pulaski County. The home is a total loss. WKYT's Phil Pendleton has more on the loss being felt by that man's family.
The fire broke out around 5 o'clock this morning. I'm told that 87-year-old Wilgen Ace Hale and his girlfriend Becky were asleep inside. She was able to get up and to get out of the house. He was close behind, but was simply not able to, and I'm told was overcome by the smoke.
They both tried to get out the front door. Unfortunately, it was jammed. She went out the back door and tried to get him out of the front door from the outside and wasn't able to get the door down quick enough to be able to get him out.
The coroner pronounced the 87-year-old dead at the scene. His granddaughter says Hale did not let his age slow him down, but some recent health issues may have made getting out of the smoke-filled home difficult.
Just a few minutes after 5, we were dispatched to the fire here at this residence. At that time, the structure was fully involved with fire upon our arrival.
There is no word yet on a cause, but Leffler questions if an electrical issue is to blame because she says her grandfather's girlfriend did say they had recently had some trouble in turning on the lights in the downstairs area. Wilgen Ace Hale ran a car lot in Lincoln County, and he went to work every single day. Much more on his life from those that knew him best coming up at 6 o'clock. But for now, in Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Now, both state police and the fire marshal are investigating the cause of the fire, which is standard in deadly fires.
Investigators in Woodford County have identified a man killed in a crash last night. We had the breaking news last night on WKYT News at 11. The coroner says 24-year-old Darnell Ricon Hernandez from Lexington died at the scene. State police say 23-year-old Ashley Ishmael's car crossed the center line on Leestown Road, hitting Hernandez. Police say it's too early to say if she will face charges.
Some breaking news. The federal government has given the okay to Governor Matt Bevin's plan to dismantle Kentucky's much-praised health exchange. The approval came in a letter today from the Department of Health and Human Services. But it expressed caution, saying the federal government is concerned about the 500,000 Kentuckians who are on Connect. Governor Bevin pledged to dismantle the program created under former Governor Steve Beshear. Instead, he wants uninsured Kentuckians to use a federal program.
The University of Louisville is suing to keep records of its basketball scandal from being released. The suit asks a judge to overrule an attorney general's opinion that it wrongly withheld records related to its basketball scandal. The NCAA is still investigating U of L for allegations that a former basketball staff member paid for strippers and sex for recruits and players. A U of L spokesman declined to comment on the lawsuit.
What's now a parking lot in downtown Lexington could look much different in the coming years. The Lexington Center Corporation announcing it's right now seeking proposals from developers for a mixed-use project in a parking lot across from Rupp Arena. The 17-acre site is being called the High Street Development Project. Lexington Center leaders hope to bring more people to the downtown area. Another debate cancellation for the League of Women Voters after Senator Rand Paul declines an invitation to go head-to-head with Lexington Mayor Jim Gray. Cindy Heine from League of Women Voters and political reporter John Cheeves join us to discuss what it could mean for the future of local debates. That story is in less than 3 minutes on WKYT News at 6:30 on the CW Lexington.
Then Brad Calipari will be playing for his father this season. Dave Baker talks about why that's good news for Coach Cal's fans later in the Sports Buzz.
Welcome back. We're live here on WKYT News at 6:30 on the CW Lexington. The Kentucky League of Women Voters canceled its U.S. Senate debate after Senator Rand Paul decided not to participate.
Now the only time the two will square off face-to-face will be a KET program. Lexington Mayor Jim Gray, who campaigned in Louisville today, had accepted the league's invitation to the debate at the University of Kentucky. And that debate was to air here on WKYT. While in Eastern Kentucky today, Senator Paul explained why he decided against more debates with Gray.
But I think sometimes the yelling back and forth and all of that kind of thing doesn't necessarily make us look at some of the debates we've had. Have we always been better informed at the end of them than the beginning?
And I think Kentuckians across the Commonwealth, they got a disservice by Senator Paul not joining this debate. Now, he was able to make 6 presidential debates. He made time for 6 presidential debates, but he's only making time for 1 hour in this Senate race.
To help us break down the news, we are joined by Cindy Heine and John Cheeve. Cindy is the candidate forum and debate coordinator for the Kentucky League of Women Voters. We appreciate her participation here tonight. John joins us by phone. He is a government accountability reporter at the Lexington Herald-Leader. John, glad to have you by phone.
Thank you, Sam.
Cindy, you've already had to cancel more than half of the candidate forums the league had already planned for this month, mainly because incumbents like Senator Rand Paul are deciding not to participate in some of these. What kind of message do you think that sends to the voters who want to watch a forum or a debate?
Well, it's difficult to know exactly what messages it sends, except that it's clear that either the candidates choose not to debate, they don't want to risk the perhaps saying something that would embarrass them or be uncomfortable or could be used against them later, or they just simply don't have time for this kind of thing and for the voters.
Is this a trend that you're seeing from what you all do in past years?
We've had to cancel more forums this year than in past years, yes.
John, the goal of hosting debates, of course, is to educate the general public, the voters out there, but with all the media coverage, including online, do we really need them anymore?
Well, I'd argue there isn't as much media coverage as there used to be. You know, with cutbacks in the news industry, including at newspapers, there are fewer reporters holding politicians' feet to the fire at election time. For the most part, TV commercials are how voters are getting their information now. Politicians are able to get their message across in a very friendly format without anybody actually grilling them as you would at a debate.
So you believe more than ever they're needed now?
I would. Even 30 or 40 years ago, 10, 20 years ago, there were more reporters both in Frankfort and in Washington making sure that Kentucky's politicians were talking about what they had done for the voters or what they would do for the voters. There aren't many of us left now.
Cindy, what's the solution to this since you're seeing a trend in people dropping out?
Well, let me just say this. I think they're needed more than ever because my experience is that when I listen to our forums just in 30 minutes time, when you're asking candidates questions, I get a very different impression of them than I do when I listen to the sound bites and read about them in the newspaper. The other opportunities are online voter guides, and we're actually doing an online voter guide this year, vote411.org. That's also an opportunity for candidates to get their message out.
John, very quickly, where do you see this heading in the future?
Well, the trend is probably going to continue unless something checks it. Just in the 20 years, 25 years I've been interviewing politicians, they're showing a greater reluctance, the incumbents, not the challengers, but the incumbents, to face a potentially hostile audience, whether that is a pack of reporters or an opponent on a stage or a crowd that might ask uncomfortable questions. They really want to be able to control their own message by campaigning mostly through advertising and friendly audiences.
John Cheeve with Lexington Herald-Leader, Cindy Heine with the Kentucky League of Women Voters. Thank you both for joining us. You can join the conversation by leaving your comments on WKYT.com or on our Facebook page. Let us know what you think.
I'm in the First Alert Weather Center with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey, where we are tracking Hurricane Matthew. At least 7 deaths are now blamed on this storm, and it is a monster.
It really is. At one point, it reached Category 5 status. You're looking at some of the video there. Significant flooding, obviously. This goes without saying, into parts of Cuba, Haiti, a small part of Jamaica as well. And Jennifer, that is just kind of setting the stage for what is to come across the Bahamas and maybe Florida up to the Carolinas as well. This is a strong storm.
A lot of people are asking me if they're headed out to Florida for fall break this week. Should I cancel my trip? I mean, like, you know, I'm sure you're getting the questions too. What would you advise people if they are planning to head down there?
You got hurricane watches that are up right now for the east coast of Florida. That likely will be upgraded to a warning at some point as we go through the next little bit. My recommendations are that you're going to, in many cases, a lot of those plans are going to get wrecked. All right, and my concern with the state of Florida right now, Jennifer, is that this storm is roughly 36 hours away from impacting Florida, and while it is a little uncertain as to the exact path of that, the cone of uncertainty does cross most of Florida, and it gets so close. So let's say that this shifts a little farther to the west, and this actually comes ashore into Florida. No evacuations have been ordered into Florida. Now, we've had them up into Georgia and South Carolina, where there's a little greater confidence on a higher, this hurricane impacting those areas. But my concern is, what happens if we get into tomorrow and all of a sudden that forecast cone shifts farther to the west with a landfalling major hurricane in Florida, and hurricane evacuations have not been ordered just yet, or at least people don't have the heads up? That's a recipe for something bad if that is indeed the case. Let's hope this hangs offshore as of now, but it is still going to impact the east coast of Florida. I don't think there's any way that Florida just completely misses out on at least some high winds and heavy rain. Do they get the brunt of a landfalling tropical system? We'll see as we go through the next few days. But this storm will then head toward parts of Georgia, parts of the Carolinas, and may hold together all the way up into sections of the waters off the coast of New England. So this storm has at least an outside chance of impacting every state along the East Coast, which would be incredible. Back here in Kentucky, I want to show you this skyline. We were giving you a heads up on an awesome sky likely to take place. Here's the sun. Here's a fake sun. What the heck is a fake sun? That's a sundog that is showing up out there. So you've got the actual sun, and you've got a sundog. Buzz Baker's barking over there. You've got a sundog, which is the sun's rays kind of reflecting or refracting on those ice crystal clouds that are out there. Absolutely awesome view right now. Lexington, surrounding areas, mix of some sun and some clouds, and temperatures quickly dropping through the 70s. Here we go with those high clouds that are out there across the western part of the state. Those clouds will continue to filter on in. Next few days, pretty much same old, 75 to 80 for a high temperature, with a daily threat for awesome weather right on through Friday. That's good news for the opening day of Keeneland. Guys, Saturday, we're going to watch a cold front get into town. Temperatures drop. That we are for sure of. Could be a shower or thunderstorm in there as well on Saturday. Really, everything once you get past Friday depends on what exactly happens with Hurricane Matthew. But to answer your question down there into Florida and the Carolinas, at this point, gosh, I would imagine a lot of folks are canceling plans.
Yeah, I would say so. Thanks, Chris.
Coach Cal says he's a lock to be at UK for a while. Dave Baker tells us why with the Sports Buzz next. All right, get ready. It's time now for the Sports Buzz.
Each night we talk to Dave Buzz Baker for an inside look at what's going on. And Coach Calipari saying something today that made Big Blue Nation very happy, that he is a lock to stay here for a certain amount of time.
I told you that was going to happen. Now, if you remember back when Sean Sutton played here, and they asked Eddie if he was going to get any special favoritism, and Eddie would say, well, I sleep with his mama. Now, that's back when he was talking about actually sleeping in the family program. But, I mean, what he was saying was that son's going to keep him here, and everybody thought that's the same deal that Brad Calipari would be.
4 to 5 years.
Which, if the B-Cal had a redshirt year, that would take him to 5 years.
Does Mom want Brad to play?
Check it out. Yesterday at the Jefferson County Alumni Club, Cal touched on that topic, including signing his son, who now says he wants to get into the family business.
For the first time, he said, Dad, I think I may want to get into coaching. I said, well, then this is a good place. I can make you can go in the film room, you can learn it, you're around us, you know, if that's what you choose to do, but don't do it because I'm doing it. You do it because that's something you'd want to do. Now, my wife, she thinks he's playing. Like you're going to play him. I said, Ellen, stop now. And he says, no, you think I'm kidding. She's like, you'll see. You'll play him.
She is not kidding.
Who wins that one?
No, she's not. She does.
Okay.
Of course, product endorsement is big nationally. It's big for businesses here in Central Kentucky. And a great example of that, the folks, our friends down at Paul Miller Auto Group, who have endorsement deals with Cal, with Matthew Mitchell and with Mark Stoops. And now these guys are on top of their game when it comes to what they do professionally. Commercially, though, you be the judge.
Hey, Coach, what's your favorite escape?
I have no clue. Driving on the farm or up the field.
Are you supposed to hesitate like that?
Yes.
Did he really?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Well, then we need to change this because that sounded.
Yes, I did.
Hey, Coach. Hey, Coach, what's your favorite escape?
That was an explosion. You're going to say it too fast.
I got it. I got it.
Okay. All right.
By J.D. Power's initial quality study. Thank you very much.
Wow. Seriously?
I love that.
That may sell more cars than the original ad.
Yes.
Well, I've got that on my Facebook page, and we've shared it as well. You can find it at Paul Miller Auto Group. And finally, some of you may be familiar with Scott Van Pelt on ESPN. Now, he's the big, tall guy. He's about 7 feet tall. Looks like it anyway. He's completely bald, and he wears black horn-rimmed glasses. So because of that, people think every time they see a guy who is completely bald, tall, and wears black horn-rimmed glasses, that's him. That's why he does a segment every night titled, Where in the World Isn't SVP? Those are his initials. Well, look who showed up on his show last night. That would be Jimmy Caldwell, our news director, Robert Thomas, and that would be JoJo Palumbo, as you can find him on Twitter, who were all at the wedding on Saturday, right?
That's right, for Mike Linden and Rachel Hoops. You know, I always thought my husband might end up on ESPN. I just never thought it would be with my boss and Jim Caldwell.
That was really on ESPN?
It was.
No, on the Scott Van Pelt show.
Those three bald heads.
You're right.
Yes.
He does a segment every night, Where in the World Isn't SVP?
And he wasn't at Rachel and Mike's wedding.
And they made it last night.
Are you proud of your husband?
It's fantastic. I love it.
Our news director, Robert Thomas, had no idea who Scott Van Pelt.
I love
no
it.
idea.
All right, Robert, you know now.
Well, ahead tonight on the CW Lexington, an hour of Family Feud is next. Then at 8, The Flash, followed by No Tomorrow at 9.
Let's check over on WKYT NCIS at 8, and it's debate night. 2 hours of the vice presidential debate starting at 9 o'clock, followed by WKYT News later with a wrap-up of that at 11.
Really nice night.
Yeah, we'll be around 80 again over the next few days. Big changes this weekend.
All right, you're heading down to the coast, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. Check out the weather forecast big time.
Thanks so much for joining us for WKYT News at 6:30.
See you at 11.